Hi guys, hope you're well. Um, my name is Konsokijo. Inspire YG. So YG is an acronym meaning young generation. So it's Inspire Young Generation. It's not just a page on YouTube. It's also like an initiative. I started it 3 years ago, um, and it was born out of an imposter syndrome feeling. I happened to be privileged to win an award, and I felt like at the time I had not done much in the community, in terms of giving back. And so I just felt, you know what, I'm just gonna, I thought about it, prayed about it, and Inspire YG name came along. Um, so that's pretty much the background of what it's about. But mainly, it's me sharing my journey of my international student journey from Kenya to Australia. I came here as an international student couple of years now, couple of years back now, and it's been an amazing ride. It's just been an incredible journey with its ups and downs, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I think those ups and downs have made me the woman I am today. So yeah, so I pop in here. Normally I just share a bit about my journey. I share about my experiences as an international student, as an ex international student, which I am now. No longer at uni. um all right, so yeah, so today I am going to join you with a cup of tea. Drink what you like to drink. I love a cup of tea. I'm really like an old person in a younger person's body. I just love everything about being old. I don't know. Yeah, if it's weird, yes, I'm weird. I'll take it. Anyway, I love a cup of tea. It's what I'm having. I don't drink coffee. I don't even understand why coffee is a thing. A Kenyan speaking where we grow coffee back home. And I'm in Australia where coffee is the in thing. But I just don't know. I don't like it. I don't like the taste. I don't like the smell. Coffee to me smells like cigarettes. And I hate cigarettes too. So um yeah, plus I don't drink alcohol. So it sounds like I'm a very, very boring person. But trust me, I got some sense of humor. At least I laugh at my jokes. Kidding. Anyway, I love the fact that I just saw this today. I got this cup a couple of years ago from a very good friend of mine, Naomi, and it actually says, "Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you have imagined," by Henry David. I mean, my mantra in his life is don't give up on your dreams. That has always been my mantra in life. So I feel happy that that's the cup I'm drinking from. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams, please too. So today I thought I'd pop in here, and I'm gonna share. I saw an article yesterday from one of the leading Australian TV stations, and I'm very sorry if you can hear noise in the background. I just don't live in a very quiet neighborhood. I'm very close to the main road and train and everything else noise. That's part of my what is gonna accompany you. I talk about sound system. This YouTube business is you learn as you go, and also you invest in items that can help you. And sound system is one of those. I bought a microphone that didn't really do the job, so I need to go back on Amazon and probably grab something. Anyway, this article was talking about it was an interview done on a couple of immigrants, and they were talking about their experiences. And so they were talking about the experiences they had after migrating to Australia from different countries. So there was a lady who had migrated from the US. There's a lady who had migrated from Malaysia, a gentleman from Vanuatu, um, and other countries, I think. So I thought it was very interesting, and I just wrote some dot point because I could everything they spoke about was so relatable to me. Apart from things to do with children, and the experiences their children had at school. Obviously, I don't have that background, but everything else was so relatable, and I enjoyed reading that article. Anyway, so expectations. They had some expectations about weather, um, there was a guy from Africa, Ghana, and a country in Africa called Ghana, and he was saying how back home. So I think he was living in either Western Australia or Melbourne, and he was saying when he touched down under, it was so cold. I think he must have come around some winter. He said it was so cold, and he thought this is colder than back home. And I've had a couple of people talk about how hot Ghana is. Um, Apparently Nairobi is not hot. Look up, maybe it's subjective, but I think Nairobi can get really cold, especially between May or July to September. It can get really cold. So, but people talk about Ghana being humid and hot. I have a best friend from Ghana, and she talks about it too. So that was an interesting thing, that expectation about weather. But also my experience with Australia, winter hasn't been too bad. Like sometimes I talk about how like I get backaches with cold, but I can manage the cold because all you need to do is put on a couple of layers of clothes. But with summer, where do you run to? when it's like 45 degrees outside, and sometimes you say 45 degrees, I mean degrees Celsius, because sometimes people who use, is it Fahrenheit height, where people think about, you're talking about 40 degrees must be cold. I'm talking about degrees Celsius. So it can get really hot and really humid, right? A couple of other points that were raised was the issue of wildlife and weird, they were talking about weird dangerous wildlife or insects. I'm going to talk about those as we go on, because I have some interesting experiences with animals in Australia. But they talked about the accent as well. It's funny how and I think majority of Australians would agree with me that they sometimes when they hear or when they listen to an immigrant talk, the first thing they say, oh, you got an accent. But I think half of the time they also don't think they have an accent too. And it's almost like, okay, you have an accent, I don't have an accent. No, you have an accent. How I figured out that actually Australians have an accent. This is funny because I think the accent business is not something I ever paid attention to before coming here. But we had this teacher in my first college, and the college I first went to before I went to uni. He was such a nice guy, such a calm spirit, really nice vibe. And he used to make jokes in class. So the school I studied, and I said I'm gonna maybe do another video of that because I have a lot of experiences with that college. But for some reason they had separated local students with international students. So my class just had international students only. So I think I stayed for 6 months before I knew who Australians were and how Australians even look like, leave alone know the accent. Which in and of itself is confusing, because Australia is so multicultural that people from other countries are also citizens, that making them Australians. So sometimes unless you go to the grassroots or unless you really interact and mingle with people, it's even very hard to identify the actual Australian accent. But this teacher, he was so sweet, but every time he made jokes and laughed alone, because they used to go over everybody's head, like nobody really got the jokes. And I don't even think it was about the jokes, I think it was about the accent. Like personally, like I grew up watching Australian shows and movies and even American, so it's not like I didn't understand English. That's not the point. It boiled down to accent. As funny as that is. The other thing was daylight saving. Oh my god, this was an interesting one. I had a funny experience with daylight saving. So daylight saving is where, so in Australia, like around, I think it's spring, and then just when you're about to get to winter, they what like now, I think first of September, I think we added an hour to our time. And then during winter, like around April, we are going to reduce an hour. It's so complicated. So my story with daylight saving, what happened was, it was I think it was during summer. So what happens in summer, days are longer than nights. That means you're literally going to have the sun out as early as 5 in the morning. and you're still gonna have the sun out as late as 9 p.m. or 8:30. It will be looking like 6 p.m. or 4 p.m. outside. So I got up. I had a morning shift. That's when I used to do shift work, and I used to leave home like 4:45, right, to get to start my shift at 6:45. And that day I got up. I didn't even wait for the alarm. I just saw a bright light, you know, shine through my window, and I got up so quickly and I was convinced I'm late for work. So I took a shower quickly. I ran out of the door. I used to catch a train, and only to get to the train station and there's nobody. Like, as I'm walking to the train, I could see no one. And then when I got there, I'm looking at the screens. There's literally no train. It was 4 a.m. and it looked like 7 in the morning. Do you know I had to come back home and went back to bed and slept another 1 hour. Then I got up and got to work. Sound dramatic, right? That's what daylight saving will do to you when you have no clue what's happening. The other thing was when my friends back home would ask me, how many hours are you ahead of us, like in Australia? And I would be like, 8 hours. And then they would ask me again during winter, and I would say 7 hours. And they'd be like, but you told me 8. And then I'll be like, yes, there's something called daylight saving. So just Google daylight saving. It's a whole interesting phenomenon that when I was back in Kenya, and I think even the whole of Africa doesn't have anything like that. Anyway, yeah, that's another interesting thing that you learn. Giant insects. So the weird insects, I love going to the park, and I mean that's probably one of the very few things I miss with the lockdown, because I'm really a homebody. Lockdown has done nothing on me as a person, but I would go and sit at the park. I would carry like a shuka. I don't know what you call a shuka. A shuka is like a cloth, like a piece of cloth that you just put on the ground and put it there and you sit on it, right? I don't know what is a shuka in English. What is a shuka? Please comment down below and tell me what's a shuka or a leso. I'll probably put a picture here. Anyway, I would sit down in I think it was a spring, like it was around spring, and I sat there, and I don't know what bit me, but my whole thigh was red, like a whole circle. It's actually not a whole thigh. It was like this insect had walked around my thigh. So every place I think it walked on, I had like a huge red patch all over my body. Even today, I don't know what bit me, but that was ridiculous. Then I also had an experience with huge spiders in bathrooms. There's something about Australian spiders and summer and bathroom. That combination like that. I don't know why they like the bathroom. I don't know, especially just beside the shower. I've got no idea, but I've lived in 3 houses where we had to literally come together to find a way to get rid of a spider in the bathroom. Or take a picture in the middle of the night and screenshot to everybody so that they know when they get up in the morning to go to the shower to keep an eye on the spider. Just tell me if you ever seen a spider in your bathroom in Australia during summer. Tell me at the bottom. It's ridiculous. It is not just like a small spider where you can just smack. It's like a huge spider. And knowing the history of this country and spiders, I really don't know. I know there's some which are poisonous and some which are really harmless, but because I don't have time to analyze that, to me every spider is a spider I should run away from. Anyway, then there's also something else called magpie. Hey. that's very Kenyan right there. But because I have never been slapped by any human being, but the one slap I have ever received on my cheek has been from a magpie. So please, I give you permission to laugh because I know it's ridiculous. But this bird, if you go around it when it's mating or when it has little ones, you'll probably find them somewhere in a park on the extreme far end, somewhere on a tree on the extreme far end of a park. And if you just go there, I remember I used to go to this park. It was somewhere, a place called Concord. it was a walking distance, and I would walk there. And I love parks. I love sitting at the park, on the floor or on the benches. I just don't know, something about that, and nature and water and everything like that. So I'm at this park, and I just thought, oh, I saw swings, and I thought, let me just go and swing. This is a couple of years back. And as I'm done, I picked up my bag and I'm walking. And as I'm walking, I feel that something go over my head, and I ducked. And then I'm like, but what was that? Then I was like, okay, cool, let me keep going. Sorry, mostly when I'm walking, I don't look back. I only look back if my spirit or my energy feels like there's something behind me. That's the only time I look back. But I always look forward. The next thing I felt was like a huge slap. Pah! It literally felt like a palm of a human being on my cheek. It was so fast and so hot. It's like that licorice song of coming in hot. And I went running. I was convinced I'd been attacked by a human being. And when I looked back, I couldn't see anything. But then I looked up, and it was actually still hovering around me. It was waiting for me to turn back and it attack again. The way I ran, I swear that day I believed I was a Kenyan. It was a straight up marathon. Anyway, so watch out on magpies. You find them in Australia. They don't joke around with their children. So the other interesting thing I found was, I'm probably gonna do a part 2 of this because I don't want this video to be too long. The other one was shops. I'm gonna talk about Unilife maybe in the next video. Shops open too late, and then they are closed too early. This was actually a comment made by one of the interviewees, the lady from America, and she was like, and even I was shocked myself. I was shocked when I came here because I had this preconceived idea of how Australia will have like 24-hour economy where the shops don't close and people can go out in the middle of the night. Well, I mean, like in Nairobi, in Kenya, before pre-COVID, I mean, there's some clubs and pubs that would stay open all till morning. So I thought because I thought this is Australia, life must be progressive. There's security, there's electricity, there's everything. Shock on me that even the malls are closed by 5 p.m. Like, the few things you can see open are maybe convenience stores or petrol stations, where literally petrol station you serve yourself. You don't have like staff serving you like you have in Kenya. But I found it very interesting. And shops, and it's very rare to find most shops or even open before 9. So yeah, but then in Australia there's something called their laws around wages are very defined, and obviously they follow them. So if you're going to open your shop late, you are going to have to pay penalty or pay your staff extra money. So the money that you pay a staff working during the day is not the same amount of money you're going to pay a staff working during the night. So a lot of employers obviously trying to see how they can save money through cutting labor. And I think it's just the way it is. It's the standard. Apart from health industry, where you definitely would have to have it's round the clock. You have staff round the clock, morning and afternoon and evening shifts. Majority of the other businesses in hospitality or whatever, shops or whatever else, those things, they have caps, hours where they are open and closed. And I think wages has something to do with that. That's mad loud. Anyway, I think I'll do a part 2 of this because I think this video is gonna get long. But comment down below. I would love to know if you came here as an international student, or if you're an Australian and you've traveled to other countries. What are some of those differences that you observed and that you thought, aha, this is an interesting culture shock? Anyway, thank you so much for popping in. Please, if this is your first time popping in here, welcome, and don't forget to subscribe for more, actually for a part 2 of this video. And if you're part of this family, if you've subscribed, thank you so much. I appreciate you for watching. Please don't fear to comment down below, and like, I love to hear what you think, because your opinion obviously matters. All right, thank you so much. God bless, and have an awesome week. Till the next one. Bye.